So it sounds like not only is Mia dropping a huge bomb about Karen, but now she has some backup on her claims. All right. This isn't the first time that we have heard a cast member speak on Karen's marriage and telling us something about what she has been doing, allegedly, outside of her time with Ray. This entire episode was essentially Karen giving a masterclass in how to housewives. That's what this episode was. When I really think about it right now, I don't know what we would be doing, honestly, really and truthfully, without Karen, because she really is the centerpiece of a lot of drama. Now, when I say how to housewives, what you must understand is I'm also saying for me, a great housewife is at times wrong and at times right. Nine times out of 10, they will think that they are always right. But I think that's what makes housewives so interesting from a sociological perspective, right? You're looking at all of these different archetypes of women in this microcosm of a circle, and then you see the dynamics play out. In this instance, in this episode, to me, Karen is literally having to drive this ship. Now, I don't know if that's because, you know, Karen, not really Karen, but Giselle is playing the good cop this season. Karen is taking the role of the bad cop. Okay. Wendy, I think after having several seasons of really beefing with people, I feel like she's kind of where Giselle is and just wants to really have a good time and get a little messy when she needs to, because she does tell us at the beginning of the episode. Well, she reveals it to Jacqueline and to Giselle. Although Jacqueline already knew because apparently the comment was made to her that Jazzy essentially was joking about Jacqueline being a side chick, sidekick, whatever. So she's willing to dive in innocently, but when talk turns to Karen in the car, she is very much basically Karen ain't here to defend herself. And we're not going to do that here because it's asked about, how what's going on with Karen and Giselle. And Giselle is like, yo, I need to confront her because I'm still upset with her about what she did with my event. And I think Jacqueline chimes in something about one of them brings up the fact, oh, Jacqueline mentioned that, oh, yes, Karen is upset with me because I said that she was drinking. So clearly it's been known for at least a little bit of time now that that tea is out there, or at least that Karen is upset. So we don't get to see how that happened, how Jacqueline found out that Karen was upset, but we can just take our context clues and maybe have to figure it out. Regardless, there's a lot that's at play here that's leading me to rate this episode a 7.9. And I want to know what you guys will rate it in the chatterization down below. I've given you an intro of some of my thoughts. I did feel like this episode relied heavily on Karen. I felt like Karen was just working and working. And at times, she looked in the episode as though she were like tired and over it. And again, I think that a lot of people will think, "Oh, you go easy on Karen." No, I think we just know Karen's character on the show well enough to know likely what she's going to do and what she's not going to do. And one of the things that Karen is not going to do is implicate herself. So I would have to reasonably assume, as she states, that there's a lot to this case because they were attempting to fight back, that her team wanted her to keep quiet about, anything that she could say that would possibly make her look or seem guilty. Now, do the ladies still need to hold her accountable? I mean, in this instance, it's kind of like, I mean, yes and no. Yes, to the degree that they're doing their jobs by doing so, but no to the degree that this didn't involve them. This involved Karen, and this involves Karen's inner demons, whatever they may be, right? So I don't know. I think that the audience, like, we would like to see some level of admission, but there's not going to be any of that, at least for a while. And according to Ashley, down to the high U thingamabob over in London, baby, she the way she talking like it might be times up for Karen. Okay. Actually, you know what? I can show you better than I can tell you. Give me 1 second to pull this up. All right. I think this is it right here. Give me 1 second. I am pulling up my screen. All right, so y'all know we got the confirmation that Real Housewives of London is coming in 2025. Okay, likely like late 2025. So honestly, I don't really even want to hear that much about it. Casting is currently underway. Essentially, there was another mention of some things that were stated during the Hayu thing. Okay. And this is Ashley talking about Mia is going to have the most to answer for at the reunion, and Karen will be in the hot seat too, and she might even be wearing orange. And the crowd gasped. Now, even now, as in stating that she might be wearing orange, would basically be just telling us that I would assume that what she is saying that after this court case, she's saying or implying that perhaps she doesn't know where Karen is going to be. And if she's talking about orange, she must be talking about an orange jumpsuit, which is typically what they wear in in the prison, in the jail. So, um, I don't think it's. I think that shade, the shade of it all. I mean, on the one hand, I could say I don't think it was that level of shade was warranted. But as we will see tonight, I mean, there's plenty of savageness going on in this episode. And I gotta ask the newbies, and this is another reason why I'm giving this episode a 7.9. Outside of this being a masterclass of how to housewife from Karen and maybe a little bit of Giselle with a little tag team in there. But if Karen is having to school you on like I just felt like Stacy, I'm gonna need you to get a little bit more of a backbone. Like you showed us something when you was going at Ashley, and I get that you are a ray of sunshine. But in this episode, when Karen tells you that some of the girls, and she doesn't specify who initially, feel like Stacy is boring and uninteresting, Stacy, I'm gonna need you to like I stay classy. Please stay classy because I think that's one of the great things that I feel like people like about you. But when Mia then tells you to your face that you're uninteresting and you just hold her hand, I mean, at that moment, I feel like Mia was kind of giving you an alley oop to really like, I mean, okay, here's a moment. You know what I'm saying? And I get that Stacy is not going to do that. She's just not. I mean, it's just I just feel like Stacey, come on now, like you can't let the people play in your face like this. And maybe she's gonna set fire to things in a little bit in a couple of episodes, but right now, girl, no, girl, no, girl, no. If you think I'm gonna let somebody call me uninteresting to my face and I'm gonna hold their hand, you got another thing coming to you. Okay. Um, Similar to Jazzy, who I also really like. But I do feel like in the conversation that's gonna happen with Jacqueline, I feel like I would never joke about myself being a sidekick. Even if you know you're not, I feel like just don't do it, especially in the context of television, because when you label yourself that, then that is going to be the label that lives with you for a long time. Okay, it's kind of like Monique. Remember Monique from Real Housewives of Atlanta? And she was Nene's friend, and she told somebody had read her down, and she was like, "Well, I didn't feel read," and Nene had to coach her. That's kind of like what we were seeing in tonight's episode with Karen basically having a conversation with Stacy, where she reveals essentially that somebody in the group said that she was boring, and Stacy's like, "Me boring? How could that be?" And it's like, I love that you're a ray of sunshine, and you don't have to change that, and you don't have to not be. You don't have to. You can always stay classy, but I do need for you to start getting some of these girls together. I do, I do, I do, because they're gonna get you together. They're gonna pull you. They're gonna push and shove. Okay, so I'm gonna need you to start letting some people know. Okay, because Stacy, even this in this episode, when you finally do get there, you apologizing to Ashley. Ashley, she of the I will put my bunions on your marble, Ashley. You're apologizing to her for snapping at her, calling and curling her out about how she introduced what you have going on in your home life to everyone in a way that basically you usurped her moment to be able to talk about her own life. So to me, I feel like even in that situation, it was like, come on, Stacey. Like, I mean, I know you're doing the right thing. And in real life, that's probably what we would do. But I'm gonna need you to like, I mean, I need you to buck up on somebody one time. And I know y'all saying she shouldn't have to get out of character. And I'm not saying you have to get out of character, but use your character to get these girls together. Because the way she is getting people together in her confessionals, I'm gonna need you to do the same thing in real time. Because I felt like you were stepping on Ashley's neck last week. And I feel like Ashley needs somebody to step on her neck because I feel like Ashley's gonna poke and poke and poke until you step on her neck. And I mean that literally, not figuratively. You know what I'm saying? By stepping on, I'm saying like somebody that'll check her, right? She's not gonna respect you until you check and until you fully check her. Period. Or unless your name is Giselle. Love you, Ashley, but I think that's pretty much the case. At this point. So we start the episode off, and I know we're kind of a little bit all over the place, but I'm trying to follow my flow of frustration. The other reason I'm frustrated is, and I gotta go ahead and say this, there's a moment in this episode where I felt like, now, Jacqueline, if you can get up, stand up for your rights, okay? And tell Jazzy, I'm all of this in a bag of chips. I got the finesse. I got the body, yada, 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 yada. I got all of these things. I'm a mogul. I'm a businesswoman. You know what I'm saying? I am her. Okay. Once you tell somebody you are all those things, the next moment that you are being confronted by somebody, particularly Karen, who is coming for you, like she is coming for you. Okay. I'm gonna need you of the get up, stand up, get up for your rights. I'm gonna need for you to not break down into tears when somebody coming for you. Okay. What would you do in Atlanta? Okay. What would you do? What would you do in Jersey? I mean, and I thank God, listen, thank God for a lot of reasons, okay? For a lot of reasons. But like you can't you this is TV, okay? And so this is why I say Karen was given a masterclass in how the housewives, whether you think she was wrong or right, and I do feel like she was going a little extra hard. Um, because once you see the girl is breaking down crying, I mean, Karen basically confronts Jacqueline about lying on her. That remember Jacqueline said that Karen was drunk when they were on the phone, and Karen is like, "Girl, you called me asking me for help. I was trying to help you, okay? And you go back and you want to tell all of these people that I was drunk with you on the phone." She was like, "Shut the f up, okay? You are a bad friend. You are a liar, okay? And you're trying to. I see what you're trying to do. I see what you're trying to do, and it's not going to work on me." And then when Jacqueline starts breaking down and crying, talking about she's not that type of person, Karen is like, I don't care. I don't give an F. You can cry your little crocodile tears all you want to, but I'm not falling for it. And I even Giselle at that moment had to tell her, like, okay, Karen, like, okay, come on. I mean, and Karen was again, how the housewife. Karen was on 10 in this episode, even in her confessionals. At one point, she tells us, the audience, in her confessional that she's the eighth wonder of the world. Oh yes, did you not know? She is the star, the moon, the sun, Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune. She is of the gods. Okay, and I was like, Karen, like now, to a certain degree, I understand why she is saying it, right? She was literally working the hardest in this episode. Her and Mia, okay, working the hardest, usually working against each other, but they working, okay, they putting in the work. And Giselle's putting it in too. Giselle's putting it in too. We'll talk about her in a second. Because Giselle her commentary is kind of like it's kind of like a narrator this season. And so I think they're really putting her back into into her place where she used to be, maybe like season one, I think. Um, and I don't mind it. I don't think I mind it because Giselle is also not like a reader. She's not going to read you down in the way that somebody like a Karen or a Candace would. You know what I'm saying? Um, she's not going to read you down like that. That's not her. She's gonna do other stuff, okay, probably to make your life a living HE double hockey sticks, but it ain't gonna she ain't gonna have to she's not gonna get gutter with you. I mean, she'll ice you out. She will do that, but she's not gonna get gutter with you, okay? And that's just it. Even though she does tell us in this episode that her and Jamal was bumping and grinding and all it was all types of sexing it, getting that affectionate, chewing it, wooing it. Oh wow, we doing it. It was a lot of that going on. And I'm like, girl, according listen, I don't know that man. I'm just going by what she say and what we were told in season 5. Okay. Outside of that, um, I wish that man happiness and success. I'm just surprised he back on the show. Okay, to be honest with you. So I don't know, but I was like, "Ooh, former first lady, you telling us all that nasty talk, T? Okay, what if he didn't want his congregation to know? Whatever. Anyway, so the ladies get to the house, they figure out their rooms, and Mia has already given everybody rooms. She's giving Kiarna and Stacy, basically, she says they're in training. And that leads me to believe that since Jazzy got the room, was Jazzy supposed to be? I mean, either it's because she's Mia's friend, but Jacqueline is also Mia's friend, but Jacqueline got to stay in the room with her because I think Mia feel like she got the babysitter. Maybe. I don't know. I still ain't figured out why Jacqueline broke down crying like that. Okay, because Karen was eating her up. And I was like, girl, no, do not cry. Because now your tears are not even moving anybody because Karen has already just basically dismissed what you were doing. So I'm still mad about that. Like, girl, you cannot let nobody punk you down like that. I mean, at least go down fighting. Okay, go down with a fight because you can't be twirling up out your seat with the person in front of you. Um, and then the next person that stepped in front of you, you didn't fell out. You didn't had too much in one episode. I mean, was it too much for you? I don't know. I'm still mad about it. She's mad because she got to stay in the room with Mia again because she don't want to be hogtied to Mia for the rest of her life on this show. So that leads me to wonder: was Jazzy supposed to get the full time flute, and they were testing Kiana and Stacy? And maybe that's why Mia put the two of them down there. I mean, I can't really tell or really understand what it was supposed to give in that moment. Surprisingly, though, Stacy is all the way here for being in the room with the bunk beds and with Kiana. Who knew? She's a ray of sunshine. Oh. So, um, the girls have lunch, and that's where we get the Jazzy and we get this Jacqueline confrontation. Then the next thing you know, it's time to go get ready. Karen has her conversation with Stacy where she reveals to Stacy that, hey, girl, they've been talking about you real bad and they think you're boring. Then it's time for the ladies to head out on the boat ride, and that's where we have the confrontation between Stacy and Ashley, where Stacy ends up apologizing to Ashley, and Ashley, is basically upset because how does she know that I'm messy? How does she know that I'm messy? Because Giselle made sure to pointed out that Stacy was basically claiming that Ashley's messy, and I'm thinking to myself, don't she ain't got no TV? She don't know that you messy. I mean, maybe she's seen the show before. How about that? That might be how she knows how she know you messy. I don't know. I just a thought. Okay. So you know, we also learn in this episode that, there's still some lingering tensions between Kiana and Ashley, which I'm assuming we'll see play out. And then we get this scene where after they're on the boat, they go to dinner, and then Mia has invited several of her friends out. Now, some of these friends, Jacqueline is allegedly not cool with. Okay. Well, not I don't say not cool with. She's acquaintances with. We should say that. The production team or the producers, or maybe I don't know, somebody, okay, really, I feel like they want us to get the sense that Jacqueline is maybe a little competitive when it comes to Mia's friendship because we see a lot of scenes and talking about that. So I do wonder what's going to go on with that because it was a big deal because we saw a lot of Mia's friends tonight. Shout out to Joy, okay? Shout out to my boo Joy who was there. But also it comes up, there was another thing that bothered me about this episode. I felt like, girl, Wendy, if you mention your birthday one more time, Lord have mercy, I know, girl. Listen, I used to be the birthday king myself back in the day. You know, I just felt like one year I tried to celebrate for 30 days, ended up sick. Um, not really sick, but just hungover. So I'm like, girl, if you tell us this one more time, okay? But listen, I guess it's like advertising. You got to say it 7 times for people start to really understand what it really is, okay? The next thing that happens is Karen is like seemingly having a little bit of jealousy with regards to the fact that Wendy's birthday is really being celebrated by the girls. And she feels like her birthdays are always jacked up by the girls. So there's like a little bit of like seemingly like competition there, or at least that's the way it's being portrayed. And I'm kind of like, Karen, you're looking a little jealous right now. You probably should not be, continuing to gripe about Wendy's birthdays in comparison to yours because at least they've been celebrated and at least they were memorable. So that's not to say Wendy's won't be, because we will have to wait and see because they didn't pulled out the to be continued. I feel like this is the second time that they didn't pulled out a to be continued in the first 4 episodes. That cannot be right. That's also why I took away a point because I just kind of feel like I told y'all in the Salt Lake City review, you get 1 to 2 to be continues per season because otherwise it becomes overused. And I feel like when you are only getting maybe 15 episodes for a season, like to have used a to be continued or something that felt like that so closely within the 4 episodes that we've actually had, I just kind of feel like I wouldn't do that. It's annoying to me as a viewer because I really want to see the next episode. Those of us who are watching the show we are really invested in it. So I just kind of feel like give us what we want, give us what we asked for, like, and we asked for no to be continues. Now we do see when the ladies sit down at dinner, we see Giselle also confronting Karen in the most gentlest of ways. Karen, I'm upset with you. I had my event and it was for my father, and I just feel like separated all the girls. And Karen is like, well, I receive it, but I just wanted everybody, I tried to make concessions for everyone, and a lot of you guys were really split down the middle about this. With some people feeling like they should not have tried to go to both after they had RSVP to one. I can actually safely say that if there was a possibility that I could have made both, I would have tried to make both. But again, I would have executed it a little bit better if I possibly could. Even if that meant, girl, I can't ride with y'all. Okay. I'm gonna have to ride by myself in my own Uber. Was Karen shady in doing that? I mean, either she was shady or she was creating good TV. I really don't know. Okay. Because I told you, Karen, I feel like Karen and Giselle are working. Ashley's working. Ashley's working. Whether you like it or not, she's working. Giselle is working. Wendy's working, and I think Wendy's just like, I done been through too much. Somebody else gonna have to take this now. Okay. And so it's kind of left up to the new girls to kind of like try to figure out how or where they fit in and who's gonna stand out and all that good stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know. It just that kind of went nowhere to me. But I'm glad they were able to make up and move past it because in previous seasons it seemed like Giselle would have a hard time moving past things. So I like to see this fast pace that she's taking the season. Again, it's brought up that you know Mia asked the girls to tell a funny story about her. I think Joy tells a story about ink licking between Mia's toes at dinner. I mean, listen, whatever floats your boat. I mean, I guess I'm just not. I'm just not. I mean, I think if you pulled out your big toe and you started getting, if it was somebody was licking it at the table, I mean, I'm probably gonna be amused. And I'm probably gonna be looking at you crazy and trying to secretly record you. No, I would never do that. Would never do it. Okay. Um, if I was secretly recording, best believe it would be to send to you later, okay? You friend, because I wouldn't put it out there. But I'm just saying, sometimes you see things that are so strange and you have to keep it between you and your friend, and y'all be like, did that really happen? I know y'all know that. I know y'all do stuff like that. Okay. Um, and sometimes you like, I need to remind you of what happened at dinner last night. Did you remember when he did this to you? That's kind of what it would be like. Meanwhile, then we get this story where Mia is so gleeful. I have a story. Karen, there was a time when me, you, and Joy went out, and you remember that first time we went out, and guess what happened? You butt dialed us. And Karen's like, oh, did I? Did I? And then the serious music starts creeping in, and Mia's like, and you said, do you remember what you said? You said to somebody, it wasn't with Ray. You said, those girls think I'm with Ray. I guess because honestly, I feel like the it almost feels like a trope for Real Housewives of Potomac now to basically try to give us information about Karen and her marriage. And I just feel like it's overused, honestly. Because here's the thing, Karen is going to do the work, she's going to react in some way, shape, or form. I feel like everybody knows that. And so I just feel like we heard this song and dance before from Robin? Like we've seen this movie before. So I don't know. I mean, if she had told us something, I mean, I don't know, something else. I mean, Karen already has so much going on. It's like, I mean, like, y'all ain't got nobody else fight with? I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. I'm just feeling, I don't know, I'm underwhelmed. I'm underwhelmed. I mean, I was amused, but I'm underwhelmed with this episode. So I think that there were interesting things that happened, and I'm not underwhelmed because of the lack of drama, or because I do think that there were dramatic moments. But I do think that there are certain people that need to probably step it up a bit, right? Like Jacqueline, you cannot fall apart when Karen comes for you after you tell us that she was drunk. Like you got to be able to stand 10 toes down and whatever it is. And like if somebody's coming for you, you need to stand up for yourself. And Stacy, I do feel like you're gonna have to get some people together too. And maybe it's coming and we'll see it, but I did feel like I was watching Karen teach a class on how to housewife. And again, I like Stacy for what she is, but I feel like she can use her persona and her personality to her benefit in terms of getting girls together. Okay. Getting the girls together. So that's just my thought. Let me know what you guys thought in the chatterization down below. I felt like we had some serious tough talk conversation, but I felt like we needed to. So now that I've gotten those things off my chest, let me know what you thought about this episode down in the description, down in the comments down below. Be sure to check out the description so you can check out the links. All my courses, all my travel stuff is down there. And listen, I did find a site. Well, actually, it was Emirates, where you can actually book your tickets and pay as you go. Like you can basically finance your tickets. And I was like, why didn't nobody tell me about this? So now I didn't going down a rabbit hole, finding all types of travel deals and ways to make money from traveling. I didn't listen. I didn't unearth it all. So um tap in. Okay. So with that being said, I will let you guys get on out of here, and I will catch you guys in the next video. All right. I am actually traveling this week also. So if the videos are a little bit scattered, that's why. But we're gonna still keep this train moving as best we can. All right. I'll catch you guys in the next video.